Hey guys, Todd Helms with Eastmans out here today to bring you a gear review on the new Swagger Bipods, the quick detach models. We got two different models to review today, and I'm going to run through all of the highlights on what and explain to you why you should be looking at these if you're in the market for a bipod. Hey, while we got you here, drop down and mash that subscribe button. Leave us a comment, give us a like on this video, and turn on that notification bell so you get notified every time we drop new hot content here on YouTube. Hey, don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram as well so you can stay up to date on all the stuff we've got going on here at Eastmans. All right, so first up on the gun, I have the SFR10 QD. What SFR stands for is Swagger Flex to Rigid. Some features that are new on the SFR10 QD, that QD stands for Quick Detach. What I can do with this in the past, once that Steelbanger was on my gun, I had to fold the legs up and it was on there. I needed an Allen key to take it off of the pick rail. I don't have to do that anymore because Swagger came out with a quick release. All I do is slip this lever and it pops off of the QD mount that's right here on the sling stud on this rifle. The SFR10 QD is designed for long-range shooting, long-range hunting, long-range target shooting, competition. It allows you, with an Allen key, to go from a very rigid platform that is solid, gives me a rock solid rest for engaging targets at distance, and when I want a solid platform to shoot off of, and if I need to be able to move a little bit, I can tweak these legs and I can flex the bipod. I can change my angle. This thing is adjustable from 6 inches in height, which is what it's at now, to 10.5. I can get even lower than 6 inches if I need to, which is phenomenal in the field when I'm shooting at extreme angles. For example, if I've got an extreme uphill angle at an animal, I can pull that rifle back toward me or lean it forward, and I can change the angle, making these lower if I need to get lower. If I need them higher, I just twist the legs and slide it out, boom, and I've got them right there. This SFR10 QD is going to weigh, it's tipping the scales right about 15.2 ounces. So it's right in that ballpark of where you want a bipod to be on a hunting rifle. One of the things that I have really liked about the Swagger Steelbanger in the past is that I can acquire targets very easily with this. If I'm not quite on what I want to be, I can move that rifle back and forth. I can bend a leg out to the side. I had to do that a couple years ago with the original Steelbanger. When I was deer hunting, I was on a steep hillside, on a side hill. I needed some cant to level my reticle and get on that buck. All I had to do was grab the uphill leg of the Steelbanger and bend it out a little bit, and the rifle was level. I didn't have to do anything fancy. All I had to do was bend that leg, and it was easy. It allowed me to make a really good shot on that buck and anchor him right in his tracks. So you may be asking the question, why do I need adjustable flex tension on the legs? Well, here's the deal. If I'm at the range, I want this thing rock solid for shooting off of like I'm doing today. I don't want it to flex. I don't want it to move. Swagger thought that through. In a hunting scenario where I'm going to take this into the field, I want to be able to customize that flex. And with the SFR10 QD, I can just, with a simple Allen key, I can just adjust the flexibility of this. Now, I prefer a pretty stable platform, so I don't put a lot of flex into these legs, but you might want some flex, especially if you're in real up and down terrain where you might need to pull that rifle back or push it away from you a little bit, and those legs can flex. Maybe you need to adjust the cant. You could pull a leg out to the side, kind of like that, and it'll readjust. I'm going to loosen this up in a minute and show you how flexible these are, because right now, these things they are rigid. This is a very rigid platform for me to shoot off of, which is the whole point of the SFR10 QD. Flex to rigid. I want it rock solid at the range off the bench, and it is right now. I'm going to take this into a competition or in a hunting scenario, and I want some flex. I tweak it, and I've got flex, all with one bipod. So this SFR10 QD is going to run you about $250. And like I said, it weighs about 15.2 ounces. It's right in that ballpark of where you want a dual purpose bipod to be. But there's another model, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. Before I do that, I'm going to show you how I adjust the flexibility on these legs. Just takes a standard size Allen key. You got to figure out which one that you need. And then all you've got to do is put that Allen key in there. It's pretty easy. And then I can just turn the leg and you can hear that spring loosening. I'm gonna go right about there. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. And all I'm gonna do is put that key in there, get it in there at the right spot, and I'm gonna hold it tight and I'm gonna loosen that leg. And the whole point of this is I'm getting these legs so I can bend them. And right there, I have flex in these legs now. I can bend them out if I need to. I can bring them in if I need to. And that's the flex to rigid right there. This thing moves, it goes back and forth. For what I'm gonna do today, that's how I would have that set if I was competing or if I was especially in a hunting scenario where I might want a little bit of play in that so that I can change an angle real quickly on the fly. I'm gonna tighten these back down though to shoot some steel here at the range. And all I'm gonna do is the same thing in reverse. You'll see your spring get longer and shorter. You'll see it expand and contract as you're tightening. And that's all I'm doing here is I'm tightening that leg. And I want it rigid, so I'm gonna crank it all the way down tight. Once I get it about where I want it, I can go and tighten the screw on the top very easily. Handful of quick turns so I get it where I want it. And it's tight, it's rigid. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. There we go. Tighten that thing down. This is not something I would want to do in the field, but I'm going to have this all done before I go someplace. Like if I'm going on a hunt, I would have my tension set where I want it. There we go. And now it is rigid. Let's bang some steel with this thing. See if it lives up to the Steelbanger name. I think it's going to. After I shoot this, I'm going to take it off with the QD and I'm going to put the other one on, which we'll get there in a minute. It's called the Extreme Angle Steelbanger. All right, so there's 200 yards. Confirm 0 real quick. Easy. Good solid rest, which is the whole point behind the SFR10 QD. It's solid. Now I'm going to step it out a little bit further. I'm going to get a range so I can get my dope just right. We got some wind to deal with today and it's pretty cold, so let's take a look. 326. 326, so I have about a 2.75 come up. There's 2. I'm going to go there. We'll see what happens. Cranked it. We'll take it. Good solid rest. That SFR, that rest is solid. I like the fact that it is rock solid. When I'm on my target, it's not moving at all. It's just locked in place, which is exactly what I want out of a bipod. All right, so the second new Steelbanger for 2021 is the SEA12. The SEA stands for Swagger Extreme Angle 12-inch. Just as the SFR10 QD had that 10 in there, it stands for 10-inch. This is 12 for 12-inch. This bipod's going to run about 13.6 ounces and start at like 9 inches where it is now and extend all the way out to 12, which is nice when you have a little bit more you need to get a little higher to shoot from. I can pop these legs out and extend it all the way up to 12. This is the one that I prefer for hunting because I can move it. I can do all kinds of stuff with this. I can bend these legs out, make it lower. If I need some cant, I got it right there. It's perfect. Well, the original Steelbanger is similar to the SEA12 in that it has that flex to it. There's springs in here, just like on the SFR10 QD, but they're overmolded with rubber, with a very substantial rubber that controls how much they flex. They're not too flexible, they're not too stiff, they're not too rigid. This is the model, again, that I really like this model for hunting. One of the things that I really like about this, that extreme angle. Now, we are like snowed in all the way around us today, and it's May 21st. It's 33 degrees with a stiff wind, raining. That's why we're at the range doing this today, because I really wanted to get you in the field to be able to show you how this thing moves. Say I'm shooting downhill. I can bend those legs just like that and get way lower to the ground. Look at that flex. I can change my angle. I can do all kinds of different stuff with this. Say I need to go uphill. I can do the same thing. I can really bend that and make that flexible. That is really nice to be able to do on the fly in a hunting scenario. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. You're like, okay, that flex, how's that going to equate to stability on the shot? Well, I can tell you from firsthand experience that this tubing on here provides, even at that extreme flexed angle, that's still very solid. And it is more than solid enough to make any shot that I'm going to take within my ethical hunting range. So what we've got is extreme angle and extreme cant. I can cant this thing. I can do all kinds of stuff with this rifle. And again, I'm just working the back of the gun. I'd obviously be way more controlled with it in a hunting scenario. Both the SFR10 QD and the SEA12 mount to a Picatinny rail, which I have Swagger's Pic rail QD that mounts to the sling stud here on the front of the gun. I put it on there. It's on. It's quick detach, comes off pretty easily, and their swivel up leg system, which is also really easy to use, just like that. It doesn't really make any noise. It doesn't have springs that catch or bind. This is the model that I'm going to choose when I am hunting in the mountains where I have to deal with extreme angles on a daily basis. And that's great. Great. We ran through all the features on this. You've looked at both of them, but we banged some steel with the SFR10. Let's see if we can do it with this one. So I'm going to go straight back out to 326 yards with the Extreme Angle 12, the SEA12, and see if I can crank it. I've got my scope ready to go. So we got one in the chamber. See if we can hit it. That'll do, donkey. There it is right there, guys. Your complete breakdown of the new Steelbanger products for 2021 from Swagger. You've got a flex to rigid model and you've got an extreme angle model. If you're in the market for a new bipod or maybe a couple new bipods, the Swaggers are definitely worth a look. Thanks for watching today. Like I said, drop down, leave us a comment, let us know what you think of the review and what else you want to see. And until next time, we'll see you in the field.